As men, a lot of the things we do, 90% of the things we do, we don't do it for us. We do it for the lady. You might want to come against me and say, no, it's not because of her, it's because of him and his bad choices. That is true. But that's why I'm speaking to you now as a man to man, a man that's watching this right now. Be careful with the choices that you make. I'm not saying you're always going to be 100% correct. I'm not saying that you never make mistakes. But be careful. Settling down secures you. It just makes you much, much more safer. But don't call rape just because you can. Don't. It's not fair to the man, especially if he didn't do it. If he did, yes, call rape. But if he didn't do it, don't call rape just to get at him. Because now you are ruining his entire life.
Raw conversations with Herald Kavuala, where truth is spoken boldly, minds are challenged, and legacy is built.
Welcome back to Raw Conversations with me, Herald Kavuala. Man, we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn. There's a lot of growing up that needs to be done. Forgive me if my voice is a little crusty today. I think I got flu, and my voice is just sounding a bit funny. So please bear with me for this one episode. But yeah, the work has to go on. I'm sure I've seen by the title already of this episode. And we're just gonna get straight into it, guys. The Yung Filly case. And that's what I started off by saying, that as men we have a lot to learn and we have a lot of growing up to do. Let's just establish one thing. I just want to put something out there from the get-go. And you can either agree with me or disagree with me. It really is what it is, but I find that to be the truth. As men, a lot of the things we do, 90% of the things we do, we don't do it for us. We do it for the lady. The big houses that we wanna own, the big sport cars and the expensive things that we wanna own, it's not necessarily for us. It does make us feel good. But the motivating factor for wanting to achieve those things is for a woman. It is for a woman. And we forget that this very same woman that we are trying to please can be the very same woman that can either break you or build you. And that is where the underlying factor regarding the growth of a man or the destruction of a man is the woman in which he decides to bring into his life. Yung Filly had a very, very, very impressive career ahead of him. He was going in the right direction. He was going north and upwards. His career was shining. His career was promising. He had many endorsements, many sponsorships. He had many things going for him until he met this one lady.
Yung Filly has been found not guilty of raping a young fan during a one-night stand in Australia. The British rapper and YouTuber, whose real name is Andres Felipe Valencia Barrientos, was facing 10 charges in total, including several counts of rape and sexual assault, after spending the night with a young fan after a concert here in Australia back in September 2024. The jury cleared him of 3 counts of rape and 2 further counts of allegedly slapping and choking the young woman. He was found guilty on 2 counts of assault, and the jury couldn't reach a verdict on a further 3 counts of rape. During the trial, the young woman who accused him said that they had had consensual sex in his hotel room before it turned violent, accusing the social media star of biting, bruising, and even trying to choke her. Yung Filly said that vibes were good between the two and that he'd fancied the woman, and he told the court that he'd given love bites to the woman during sex. After the verdicts were read out, Yung Filly reportedly cried. He'll remain on bail until August the 21st, when they'll decide on a sentencing date for those charges he was found guilty of. The prosecution will also work out the next steps for the charges where the jury couldn't reach a verdict.
Let me deal with the formalities, and then we'll come into the raw conversations. We'll come into the raw conversation that we and I will have. The formalities are this. Yung Filly was first arrested in October of 2004. And at that time, he had faced 8 charges in 2004. This is after he had a performance in Perth, Australia. And then I think, after the performance was done, because he met a lady there, and after the performance was done, on his way back, I think to the UK, he got arrested at the airport. Right? And then he was charged with 8 charges at the time in 2004, October. Those 8 charges were 4 sexual penetrations without consent, 3 assaults, occasioning bodily harm, and 1 impending breathing by applying pressure to the neck. In layman terms, choking and strangulation. Before the trial started in June 2005, the prosecutors added 2 more charges, and there was 2 additional counts of sexual penetration without consent, and then bringing the charges to a total of 10. Now, so these exact 10 charges are 4 counts of sexual penetration without consent, rape under Western Australian law, 3 counts of assault, occasioning bodily harm, 1 count of impeding another person's normal breathing or circulation by applying pressure to the neck, commonly referred to as choking or strangulation, and then 2 additional counts of sexual penetration without consent. Grape. Because they're censoring the words here, which were added in June 2005, bringing the total to 10 charges. Now, this week, or last week, I'm not entirely sure, but the jury came to a verdict. And it's both good and bad. That's the honest truth. And as much as people are saying he's not guilty, but he can still be guilty. It's like Phil is kind of in limbo right now in terms of not knowing exactly what is going to happen with his life. Why do I say that? It's because the verdict does not make him not guilty. I don't know if that making sense. So the verdict goes like this. Convicted on 2 assault charges relating to biting that caused injuries, and I'll explain that in a few. And then he was acquitted for 3 counts of sexual penetration without consent, 1 assault charge, and 1 choking strangulation charge. The jury could not reach a verdict on the remaining 3 sexual penetration without consent charges, meaning the prosecutors are considering whether to seek a retrial on those counts. Those are 3 sexual penetration without consent charges. So he is acquitted on 3 counts of sexual penetration without consent, and there's still 3 pending. Now, the 3 that are pending because according to RAIN, which is the rape, assault, intercourse, something like that. Okay, I'll put them up. According to them, consent is something that is ongoing. What I mean by that is that every single stage of a sexual activity requires consent. And that's what made these 3 charges pretty tricky for the jury to come to a conclusion to. Because it means that just because she said yes to kissing, doesn't mean she said yes to you touching her. Just because she said yes to you touching her, doesn't mean she said yes to you penetrating her. And even if she said yes to you penetrating her, doesn't mean she said yes to you giving her life bites. Doesn't mean she said yes to you spanking her. So according to Ray, consent means it's an ongoing communication thing. So with these 3 verdicts that they failed to come to a conclusion to is because she could have said yes to the penetration, but said no when she started feeling as though things were getting out of hand. Because, not to be too explicit, but during the whole sexual encounter thing with Philly and this young girl, apparently she was 20 at that time, Philly started getting very physical with her and started biting her. And pictures were shown in court of Philly biting her, and then he was saying that no, he was giving her love bites, and so on and so forth. And then it got to a point where Philly was getting physical with her and hitting her, and obviously choking her and strangling her. This is, to be quite honest, from my point of view, it's very, 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 and I guess it's a very aggressive way of having intercourse. Biting is pretty aggressive. I don't know how that comes about. I don't even know how do you start with biting someone. I can understand choking. For some women, it's a fantasy, but to a point where she can't breathe and you still continue, that does call for concern. In my books, that calls for concern. But it's very, very hard that in the middle of sexual activities, that you need to stop, request for consent to do something else, and only if she says yes, then do you go ahead and do it. It's very, very hard. And I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very hard. Because once you're in it, you're in it. Usually once you get sexual, you usually let the moment go with it. And only when something is done that other person doesn't want, that is now brought up and say, okay, no, I'm not comfortable with that. But until then, we're flowing. We're going, we're having a good time. And I think that's why they're struggling with getting to the verdict on those 3 counts. And also, like I said, with him being acquitted on the assault was because he claimed to have been giving her love bites and not biting her, as she said. Now, like I said, I've been watching a lot of videos, gathering information, because I like researching before just coming up here and speaking on any topic. The process of how this thing got to it is pretty interesting. And that is why I said that as a man, the woman we bring into our lives can either break us or build us. And that's very crucial. That's one thing we need to understand as men. It's fun and games to have to be a big shot and have all the girls you want. But one of those girls will be the one that brings you down. The Tate brothers they're dealing with that right now because they keep getting hit with, oh no, she said this girl said this girl said that. And the Tate brothers keep saying, no, but these are the very same girls that we elevated or we groomed or we did this and we helped them there. The Tate brothers keep saying, oh no, these are our baby mamas. And then the people that have the kids again keep saying that, yeah, but your baby mamas keep saying this. So the girls you bring in your life play an extremely important role in who you are as a man. Come down to the Yung Filly case, back to the Yung Filly case. This girl that Yung Filly and them met and then had whatever the shenanigans they did in the bedroom. Now this is just how do I put this? This is kind of what I think could have been the trigger to why it happened the way it happened. So Yung Filly and this girl had their sexual intercourse, right? And then it happened the way it happened. He was getting physical. He was clapping her, slapping her, strangling her, all that stuff. But this girl was so in love with Filly that she believed that she was going to marry him. She believed that they were destined to be together. From one of the videos I watched, The club owner even said in the court that this girl kept DMing them, requesting VIP access in the club. That's how close she wanted to get to Philly. To Young Philly, to a point where she actually got to the VIP section, managed to interact with Philly, and apparently, according to her, Philly put his hand down her pants and squeezed her bum. That's what she said. That's what she said in court as well. So it goes to a point where it gets to the bedroom, to the hotel room. So this girl already has this perception of Philly being this big shot and the guy of his dreams and someone that she wants to spend the rest of her life with, and so on and so forth. And she gives in. She consents to having sex because she did say she consents. She gave her consent. And this just happens, and she realized that, okay, it's not exactly what I thought it would be, because now he's beating me and strangling me and so on and so forth, but it still happens, right? And then it gets to a point where now they leave the hotel. Yeah, they leave the hotel, and this is all said in the court. She overhears Philly and the security guard speaking about her, and Philly telling the security guard that she wasn't that good in bed. I'm paraphrasing. She wasn't that good in bed. She overheard that. And I think she felt some kind of way once she heard that. And then the second thing now was, when she got home, she sent Philly a DM telling Philly that, I think I left my hotel key. There's another part, I'll just bring it up. I just remembered it now. She tell Philly a DM saying, I think I forgot my key at the hotel. And then Philly, young fella did not say, let's go and fetch it, but rather he said, well, I guess you'll have to call the hotel and go get the keys by yourself. Before it even got there, after their sexual intercourse, Philly was hungry and decided that he wanted to order chips. And she wanted a burger, I think. I don't know whether he wanted a burger or she wanted a burger, but there was food involved. Right? He wanted food and she wanted food. Philly got himself food and didn't get her food. And then they went at the hotel, and then she overheard the security and him speaking. And then she wanted the keys, but Philly didn't want to go with her. So I'm guessing all this made her realize that, hey man, this man hasn't actually liked me. This man just used me. This man just slept with me, and now he's not go on with his life like I never existed. At that particular time, she is deep in love with this man. She sees this man as the guy of his dreams. I can't blame her. Valid feelings, right? She's not the first, neither will she be the last. Any woman that's in the presence of stardom is always going to get starstruck. So Phil is this big guy to her, and she's like, oh, this is my chance to, have the life I've always wanted with this man that I admire. And it so happened that things didn't happen the way they happened. And that could be one of the reasons why she decided to open a court case against him. That's one of the reasons why she decided to take him to court. Who knows? Maybe it was to end his career. Maybe it was to teach him a lesson. Whatever reason it is that she decided to take him to court is definitely her own and her family, because family was involved. But all I want to say is that, man, and as much as it's hard, because you never know who you're going to meet, but we need to be careful with the ladies we bring into our lives. Like I said, Philly had a very, very promising career, and all that now is washed away. It's all now in the past. His sponsors, his endorsements, his affiliated companies he was working with, they've all pulled away. They've all pulled away. In fact, the moment he got arrested, that week of his life was chaos, because all sponsors and endorsements started pulling away. His own friends, Chunks was quiet. He even dropped the video saying, guys, due to the nature of the case, and we all know it's ongoing and still pending, I cannot say anything. He never once came in the face of his friend. Regardless of whether your friend is guilty or not, but at least the one thing you can do is at least say that I don't think he did it. It does not implement you in the case. It does not automatically say you knew that this is the type of life he lived. It doesn't. All you had to do was, I don't think my friend did that. But no. His friends don't call on him. Endorsements, sponsorships all pulled away. And like right now, Philly's entire life will never be the same again. It honestly will never be the same again. And it's all because of a woman. Look, you might want to come against me and say, no, it's not because of her, it's because of him and his bad choices. That is true. But that's why I'm speaking to you now as a man to man, a man that's watching this right now. Be careful with the choices that you make. I'm not saying you're always going to be 100% correct. I'm not saying that you never make mistakes. But be careful. Be careful. Because the very same woman you think, this one is going to be careful, or this one won't do, this one does, might just be the one that will just end your entire life. Mike Tyson always says it. It's always the punch you'll never see coming that will knock you out. I think it was Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was one I think Mike Tyson's quote is, until you get punched in the mouth. Yeah, something along the lines. But what I'm saying is that you'll never know what's going to knock you out until you get knocked out. Same thing with the ladies. So we just need to be careful. The safest, get married. I know it's very, very hard when you're a star. You got money, you got fame, you got power, you got some sort of influence, you got respect, to want to settle down, because now you're considering yourself a hot shot. You're like, why should I settle down when I've got so many options available to me? Why should I settle down when I know she likes me? I can get with this one, I can get with that one. Settling down secures you. It just makes you much, much more safer. Yeah, it just makes me much, much more safer. Settle down. It might not be fun, it might not be what the media is pushing, but settle down, be at peace, start a family. And such things will never happen to you. They won't happen to you. I feel really bad for Yung Filly. And as much as, yes, he's been acquitted of 3 charges of rape. He's been acquitted of those 3, but there are still 3 that are pending. And as it says, they might go for a retrial. One way or the other, Yung Filly is going to face jail time. That's for sure. They are convicted on 2 assault charges relating to biting. And caused injuries. So like it or not, he is going to face jail time. So it's just my word of advice to every single man out there. Be careful. Be careful. It's all fun and games until everything goes sideways. I don't think Philly would ever thought this would have happened to him. But in the moment it does, you can't help but ask yourself, where did I go wrong? And by the time it's too late. Because now Philly will never be the Yung Filly anymore. That's the past though. Same with the Diddy case. Even if Diddy comes out of jail, Diddy will never be Diddy anymore. R. Kelly will never be R. Kelly anymore. Bill Cosby is not Bill Cosby anymore. There are certain charges, there are certain things you go through in life that will never leave you the same ever again. And also to the ladies out there, I know you have a lot of power given to you. And you can do a lot of damage to a man, and then he wouldn't even know it or see it coming. But don't call rape just because you can. Don't. It's not fair to the man, especially if he didn't do it. If he did, yes, call rape. But if he didn't do it, don't call rape just to get at him. Because now you are ruining his entire life. It's really not fair. I think if I could remember, I think it's Sjava who also went through it in South Africa. I think it's Sjava. I could be wrong. But he too had a rape allegation charged against him, which was later realized to be fake, to be false. But even then, he went through it. And I think Tall as Mo as well had a case. Now, he was not a rape case, but I'm just speaking about how much power a woman has over men. I think it's Tall as Mo, where he says he was going through there was a phase in his life where he was going out with some other girl, right? And at that particular time, he had a contract, I think, with Kellogg's or something of that sort. And then that girl got pregnant and then blamed the pregnancy or pushed the pregnancy or placed the pregnancy on Tall Mo. And Tall Mo's mom went to hospital and saw the baby and said, "This is not your child." But the gist of the point is this. Just because she did that and called Tall Mo an absent father, Tall Mo lost contracts. He lost his contract with the current company that he was speaking to at that point in time. That's how much power you women have. And if you don't use it carefully, you can ruin a lot of lives out here. Now, you might not care because you just want to get your point ahead. You just want him to feel the pain that you felt, the pain that he caused you. But sometimes think long term. That's all I have to say. Ladies, you have so much power and so much influence over a man. You can make or you can break a man's career. So be careful with this power. Be careful with this power. And men also, choose wisely. Not every girl that comes your way, you need to impress. You need to go and visit the enchanted forest or whatever. I'm just not trying to be explicit with the name. Not every girl that you come across you need to sleep with. All right? Let's grow up and let's be wiser as men. Because the future, honestly, depends on us. The future of this planet depends on us. Men. Women might fit into whatever, but that's the truth. If you made it this far into the episode, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I see the love, I see the support, and I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It motivates me and allows this platform to grow, to reach more voices and bring in more people that can help all of us to grow, to impact the lives of other people, and to make us realize that we are stronger than what we actually think we are. We just need to believe it. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Peace. If you made it this far into the episode and you like what you heard, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. YouTube tells me about 76% of yours, in fact 96% of you people watch my videos but then don't subscribe, and that hurts me. So please do subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.